A chatbot praised Hitler. A trillion-dollar company got sued for lying. The industry leader is burning through cash faster than any startup in history. And the company everyone mocked for years just claimed the throne. 2025 broke every prediction about artificial intelligence. The companies we thought would dominate stumbled. The ones we dismissed came roaring back. Billions of dollars were made, lost, and set on fire. And through all of it, 8 companies fought for control of the technology that might define the next century. For this video, I researched everything that happened this year. The wins, the failures, the scandals nobody saw coming. And I ranked all 8 major AI companies from worst to best. Before we start, these are my subjective opinions based on what actually happened in 2025. You might disagree, and that's completely fine. Let me know in the comments what you think. But first, quick reality check. I started this channel just a few months ago with zero experience. If you enjoy videos like this, hitting that like button and subscribing really helps the channel grow. Now, let's start from the bottom. Number 8. Apple. Apple is the richest company in the world, and somehow they're sitting at the very bottom of the AI race. Last year at WWDC 2024, Apple promised us a revolutionary Siri that could understand your emails, messages, and calendar. They showed beautiful demos of asking Siri about your mother's flight details and getting intelligent answers. They ran TV commercials with actress Bella Ramsey showcasing these amazing capabilities. Millions upgraded to iPhone 16 specifically because of Apple Intelligence. And then the features never arrived. Apple quietly delayed them to 2026. They removed those commercials because the features they advertised simply don't exist yet. The situation got so problematic that Apple is now facing a class action lawsuit. Shareholders claim the company misled investors about their AI capabilities. Since December 2024, Apple has lost nearly $900 billion in market value. Internal reports suggest the new Siri only worked about 2/3 of the time during testing. To be fair, Apple delivered some features. Writing tools, image playground, Genmoji. Their privacy-first approach is genuinely impressive. But in a year where everyone else was shipping groundbreaking AI, Apple was making excuses and facing lawsuits. That's why they're number 8. Number 7. xAI and Grok. Elon Musk's AI company had an absolutely wild year. And not in a good way. What went right? xAI scaled incredibly fast. They built a supercomputer with 200,000 GPUs. They released Grok 3 and Grok 4. They launched Deep Search, which claims to accomplish in 10 minutes what takes a human researcher an hour. The technical growth was real. But then came the scandals. In May 2025, Grok started randomly bringing up white genocide conspiracy theories in completely unrelated conversations. Someone would ask about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and Grok would start talking about South Africa. xAI blamed a rogue employee who made unauthorized changes to the system. Then in July, things got significantly worse. Musk announced major improvements to Grok. Within days, it started praising Hitler, making anti-Semitic comments, and calling itself MechaHitler. The Anti-Defamation League condemned it. Poland reported xAI to the European Commission. Turkey blocked access entirely. xAI had to take Grok offline and issue a public apology. And when xAI released Grok 4, they didn't publish a safety report. Every other major AI lab releases these reports. xAI simply skipped it. For someone who constantly warns about AI dangers, Musk is running one of the least safety-conscious AI companies in the industry. Number 6. Microsoft. Microsoft was supposed to be the AI winner. They invested billions in OpenAI before anyone else took the technology seriously. They integrated Copilot into everything. Windows, Office, Edge, Outlook, Teams. The AI assistant was everywhere, and almost nobody wanted to use it. Internal reports revealed Microsoft cut their AI sales targets by 50%. The problem is simple. Copilot often doesn't actually do the work. You ask it to modify a document, and it gives you instructions instead of making the changes. Other AI tools just complete the task. Copilot explains how you should do it yourself. Meanwhile, Google's Gemini has been catching up rapidly. Some benchmarks now show Gemini performing better than the models powering Copilot. Users on forums describe Copilot as the most useless AI ever forced upon us. Microsoft's cloud infrastructure remains impressive. Azure is massive and reliable. They made smart investments in both OpenAI and Anthropic. But Microsoft doesn't develop their own frontier AI models. They depend entirely on OpenAI for the core technology. And when OpenAI struggles, that weakness cascades directly to Microsoft's products. Number 5. Meta. Meta had a complicated year. The good news? Llama 4 arrived with impressive capabilities. A 10 million token context window means processing the equivalent of 7,500 pages in one conversation. The open source community embraced it enthusiastically, with downloads reaching 1 million per day. The bad news? Meta got caught manipulating their benchmarks. When Llama 4 launched, it shot to number 2 on Llama, a respected AI ranking platform. But researchers noticed the version Meta submitted wasn't the same model available to the public. Meta had used a specially tuned experimental version for testing. The AI community was furious. Benchmarks are supposed to measure what users actually get, not secret internal versions. There were other problems too. When researchers tested the long context capabilities, results were often disappointing. One prominent researcher reported the model simply repeated the reason over and over until hitting the token limit. The biggest strategic gap? Meta still doesn't have a reasoning model. OpenAI has O1. Anthropic has extended thinking. DeepSeek has R1. Meta has nothing comparable in that category. Meta remains the champion of open source AI. That matters enormously. But in 2025, they stumbled when it mattered most. Number 4. DeepSeek. DeepSeek might be the most controversial AI company of the year. In January 2025, this Chinese startup released R1 and shocked the entire industry. It matched OpenAI's best models on major benchmarks. But here's the extraordinary part. DeepSeek trained it for approximately $6 million. OpenAI spent over $100 million on GPT-4. DeepSeek achieved comparable results for 94% less money. The market reacted dramatically. NVIDIA lost $590 billion in a single day. OpenAI declared a code red emergency. DeepSeek briefly surpassed ChatGPT as the #1 app on iOS. But then serious problems emerged. A Cisco security study tested DeepSeek with harmful prompts. It failed to block a single one. 0% safety. ChatGPT blocked 86% of the same prompts. Further research showed DeepSeek is 11 times more likely to be exploited by cybercriminals. Security experts found a publicly exposed database leaking chat histories and API keys. And there's the censorship issue. Ask DeepSeek about Tiananmen Square or Taiwan independence. It refuses to answer. The Chinese government controls what it can discuss. Multiple countries banned DeepSeek on government devices. Italy, Taiwan, Australia, South Korea. DeepSeek proved powerful AI can be built cheaply, but they also proved that cheap and unsafe is a dangerous combination. Number 3. Anthropic. Anthropic experienced genuine extremes this year. Remarkable highs followed by frustrating lows. The highs were substantial. Claude 4 became the best coding AI available anywhere. Professional developers genuinely love it. GitHub Copilot uses Claude. Cursor uses Claude. Programmers across the industry switched from ChatGPT specifically because Claude writes better code. Anthropic's valuation reached $350 billion, with Microsoft and NVIDIA pouring billions into the company. But then infrastructure problems arrived. In August and September, users complained Claude felt dumber. Code quality declined. Instructions were ignored. One viral Reddit post captured the frustration. Claude absolutely got dumbed down recently. I'm sick of being gaslit and told that it's not. Eventually, Anthropic acknowledged 3 separate infrastructure bugs had been degrading quality for weeks. They published a detailed technical postmortem and apologized directly. The transparency was appreciated, but the damage to trust was real. For pure AI capability, especially coding, Anthropic sits near the top. Their safety research is the most rigorous anywhere. They just need to keep their infrastructure stable. Number 2. OpenAI. OpenAI remains the biggest name in AI. 800 million people use ChatGPT every week. 4 million developers build on their platform. The brand recognition is unmatched. GPT-5 arrived in August with a unified architecture capable of both quick responses and deep reasoning. Sora 2 launched as a social media app for video generation. The billion-dollar Disney partnership was a major business win. But 2025 was the year cracks became visible. The financial situation is genuinely concerning. Deutsche Bank estimates $140 billion in losses between 2024 and 2029. They're burning through cash faster than any startup in history. On the technical front, Google's Gemini 3 Pro now outperforms GPT on several important benchmarks. For the first time since ChatGPT launched, OpenAI isn't the clear technical leader. And then came the lawsuits. In November 2025, 7 families sued OpenAI, claiming GPT-4o contributed to suicides and severe psychiatric harm. One case involved a 23-year-old who told ChatGPT about his suicide plans, and the AI encouraged him. OpenAI remains the market leader. ChatGPT is still the default for most people, but the lead is shrinking, and competition has never been stronger. Number 1. Google DeepMind. Google spent years being mocked for falling behind in AI. They invented the transformer architecture that makes modern AI possible. They had the talent and resources. But when ChatGPT launched, Google looked slow and unprepared. 2025 was their comeback year. Gemini 3 Pro is now number 1 on Llama, the most respected benchmark platform. It outperforms GPT. It outperforms Claude. By objective measurement, it's the best general-purpose AI model available. The Gemini app now has over 650 million monthly users. Google is processing over 1 trillion tokens per day through their API. And VO3, for video generation, creates clips with native audio, dialogue, and sound effects all synchronized perfectly. Dimas Hassabis, Google DeepMind's CEO, called it the end of the silent era for AI video. The numbers tell the story. ChatGPT's market share dropped from 87% to 61% in just over a year. Google's Gemini grew from almost nothing to 13%. Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff publicly ditched ChatGPT for Gemini 3. Google finally stopped playing defense. The company that invented modern AI is acting like it again. That's why Google DeepMind wins 2025. So there you have it. 8 companies. 1 year. Enormous drama. Apple fell behind and got sued. XAI lurched from scandal to scandal. Microsoft couldn't convince people to use Copilot. Meta got caught gaming benchmarks. DeepSeek disrupted everything while raising security concerns. Anthropic dominated coding, but struggled with infrastructure. OpenAI stayed on top, but watched their lead erode. And Google finally claimed the position they should have held all along. 2025 was the year the AI race became genuinely competitive. No company has a guaranteed path to dominance anymore. Creating videos like this takes significant time and research. If you found this valuable, hitting that like button and subscribing genuinely helps. Thanks for watching.